today's video, I wanted to share with you 5 tips for homeschooling with a baby. I started homeschooling my oldest daughter when she was probably between 2 and 3. We started doing some preschool, and around that time my middle son was born, and so I had him as a baby, and I was kind of informally doing preschool with my daughter. Then when my third child was born, I was doing kindergarten with my oldest, and I had a newborn while I was homeschooling for kindergarten. And so these are some tips that I've used over the years that have been helpful, and I hope they'll be helpful to you as well. My first and most important tip is to baby wear. I love baby wearing, and I will link my favorite baby carriers video up here so you can check it out. But I would recommend baby wearing to every mom out there. It has been the best way for me to be able to homeschool when I have a newborn. And basically, I just, I nurse my baby, and then I just stick them in the carrier and get them all snuggly, and they usually just snuggle up and fall asleep. And then I can easily teach school from my kitchen counter while I'm standing, and my kids are at the tall stools. So baby wearing was definitely a must for our family. Number 2 is to have some places where your baby can sit, whether it be a swing, or maybe my kids had a bouncy seat, like a Fisher-Price bouncy seat, or maybe even a dock and tot, or those fancy, is it Mama Roo? Those different like motion swing things. So basically just a comfortable place where your baby can either rest or just hang out and see what's going on. Tip number 3 is to create a safe place within your home where your baby can play. So for us, we invested in a play yard plastic little gated area and created a safe baby zone for my youngest daughter when she was little, especially when they get to that age where they're rolling around or army crawling and just getting into things. It's nice to have that safe zone where you can put them down with some interesting toys or things that they can explore and not have to worry that they're sneaking off somewhere and getting into mischief. And if you don't have those plastic play yard gates, you could also just gate off a section of your house or even use a pack and play. Tip number 4 is to go ahead and do one-on-one work with your child when your baby is happy. So like for me, if my youngest was content and just hanging out, then I would go ahead and work with my daughter, my oldest, on either her reading or math, something that really requires me to do a lot of the teaching. Then when my baby gets fussy or started to want to nurse, then I could get my daughter set up on her handwriting, and she could work on that independently while I'm trying to soothe the baby. Also, while you're nursing or feeding your baby, it's also a great time to take a pause from other schoolwork and maybe sit down and do some of your read aloud, either whether it be history or science or just a great chapter book that you happen to be reading together. Tip number 5 is once your baby gets on a routine for the day, consider doing your school time during the baby's morning nap. So for my babies, I try to get them on a 2 naps a day routine once they get to be a few months old. And so when my baby would take their morning nap around 10 o'clock, then we would go ahead and I would do school with my other kids. So that has worked out well for us. That way the baby gets a nap and I'm able to just have some good one-on-one time with each of the older kids. So those are my how to homeschool with a baby tips. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What are your go-to tips for homeschooling when you have a small baby? If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd love for you to subscribe to see my future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.